Good afternoon. Assuming you put the clocks forward, that is. Hope you did, because it's Derby Day in Edinburgh, and the battle lines have been drawn ahead of this one. Hearts have been somewhat kings of the castle in recent years, but Hibs can change all that today. They are planning a relegation party, and my word, that would hurt the Jambos. But even in adversity, the boys in maroon remain defiant.
If defeat comes, we will stare it in the face. If relegation beckons, we will rebuild.
Our youth and ambition will become our strength.
While our bitter rivals may wield the hammer blow across the city, but they should know that Hearts will not allow their capital fate to be sealed in this derby. Hearts are broken. The heart is being ripped out of Gorgie. But we'll simply not lie down and accept it. We never have. We never will. Plan your party, Hibernian, and we will plan our dignified return, and we will do it with grace and courage. The Heart of Midlothian Football Club has encountered many challenges since 1874, and we will encounter more, but we will not be defeated.
It's just under 4 miles from Easter Road in Leith to Tynecastle in Gorgie, past Holyrood and the castle along the way. This is the second derby here this season. Hearts won the first way back in August, 1-0. They say the table doesn't lie. Well, even without the 15-point deduction, Hearts would be rock bottom. Worse still, St Mirren's draw in Inverness yesterday means the Jambos will be relegated today if they lose. Hibs, though, are not out of trouble yet either. They now sit just 6 points off the relegation playoff position. The 4 teams below them picked up points yesterday. Defeat here, and they really will be dragged into the mire. All the goals from yesterday are on the way shortly. And I should say, happy Mother's Day to anyone out there celebrating that. No doubt, though, the significance of this derby right now. It is absolutely massive. So we should start with the team news. Derek Ray, Gary McAllister here as always. Hibs have made a few changes.
We have 6 to be exact, Darryl. I'm not sure that we saw that one coming. Let's start though by talking about Heart of Midlothian. One switch on the side that we saw face Dundee United in the Friday night game last week. Jason Holt is back. He hasn't started a game since November. He's been struggling with a metatarsal injury. Scott Robinson out. But as you said, 6 changes for Hibernian. Williams, Maybury, Alan Maybury at 35, who hasn't featured in his last 8 starting this game. Duncan Watmore, Lewis Stevenson, Danny Handling, James Collins, they're the 6 who've come in. Murdoch, Boateng, Liam Craig, Kevin Thompson, Paul Heffernan, and the suspended Danny Haynes out from the side that, quite simply, Darryl, didn't turn up in the last match against St Johnstone.
Liam Craig, the captain, out. Maybe a big surprise there. No doubt, though, for Hearts, this is a massive, massive battle today, but the biggest battle continues off the pitch. Lithuania, another meeting passed without effect on Friday. There's more meetings to come. Apparently, April 7th is another date, we're told. But this is getting more worrying by the week, isn't it, Gary?
Absolutely. It's more worrying because people at the football club, the management, the staff, they want to prepare, they want to look forward. Recruitment, players are out of contract. Where are they going to be playing next pre-season? They need to organise all these trips. So it's the sooner the better, you know. And the people you feel for the most are the paying public. They want to go on their summer holidays knowing that they're going to come back to a solvent club with new investment.
And it looks as if it might even be May before any transfers of shares finally happen now. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. I got a feeling this is going to be good today. Enjoy the match. OK, to our next 2 guests. And I'm going to just skirt round behind the goal here because Jamie McDonald is taking some practice and a few shots flying past us right now. But we're on the pitch, a pitch where so many great derbies have been played, and we're with 2 men now who have played in many of them. 41 between Darren Jackson and Paul Hartley, both represented Hearts and Hibs. Gents, let's take a little walk. Darren, this is quite incredible circumstances now. That draw by St Mirren yesterday means this could be fiery today. Hibs could put Hearts down.
It will be fiery, yeah, and that's one thing. Hearts obviously know that they'll go down, but they don't want their rivals putting them down, and I'm sure that will add a little bit extra to the Hearts players today.
It certainly will, and there's talk of payback for that 5-1 cup defeat, isn't there, Paul?
Sure is. It's a massive game for both clubs. Hearts desperate to win it. They don't want to get relegated against their bitter rivals, but Hibs need to win the game also. They don't want to get sucked into that playoff position. You know, they're looking over their shoulder just now, and it's a must-win game for them also. They're on a bad run of form. I think 1 win in 12 games, so they'll be looking to win this game also.
That is the thing we can't forget here. I mean, Hibs now find themselves 6 points off that playoff position. Kilmarnock right up behind them now. This is enormous for Terry Butcher today.
It's massive, yeah, and with the results yesterday, they have been sucked into it. And when you're on a losing run like that, sometimes you can't see light at the end of the tunnel. So, but you've just got to grind out a result, and today's a massive result for them to grind it out.
It certainly is, and surely not a top flight without both of the Edinburgh clubs. Come and join us at the desk. You'll see Stephen Craigan is here. We'll come back to the derby and we'll have lots more build up on that to come. But first of all, let's just recap all the Scottish Premiership action from yesterday, and we'll start at Celtic Park. It was Celtic against Ross County. We've got, of course, two former Celtic players here as well, and this was not exactly what Celtic expected from the start. Melvin Delayev scoring here.
No, it wasn't. Listen, it was a great start for Ross County. You know, we've seen them during the week against Aberdeen, and I think they've improved dramatically. I think Delayev has been a key figure for them, getting another crucial goal, someone who wants to take the game to the opposition. But you know, we spoke about over the last couple of weeks about Mark Brown and some of the mistakes he's been making, Darryl, and unfortunately for me, I think he's culpable yesterday, you know, for throwing one out, leaves it in there. But you know, if Ross County leave there with a point, they'll be absolutely delighted.
Slightly tainted the celebrations afterwards, but Celtic did get the point. But still, it's the end of a fantastic season really for them domestically, isn't it, in the league, Darren?
Of course it is, yeah. I mean, they'll be disappointed they didn't win yesterday. I think Lenny had said he was wanting to go for the 103 points, so he'll be disappointed with that, but they've done the business and exceptionally well. Records are important, of course, for Neil Lennon this season. That's what they're shooting for.
Yeah, they've had a great season. You know, have deserved to win the league. They're, I think, 20 odd points ahead, so brilliant season. Unfortunate yesterday, but it's a great point for Ross County going away to Celtic Park.
It was indeed vital point for them. Right, to your team Dundee United yesterday. It was a real tussle against Aberdeen. It ended up 1-1 there, but tremendous game.
It was an excellent game. A draw was a fair result. I thought we started very well the first half hour of the game. Great goal for Paul Payton, passing it into the net there. The celebrations were good as well. And then the second half, Aberdeen come into it. Obviously, from our point of view, it's a poor goal. Letting Barry get the cross in and McGinn come across the defender, but it was a fantastic game, a great advert for Scottish football.
Barry Robson seems still to be very influential for Aberdeen.
He was very influential in the second half, and he gets a few crosses into the box, a few shots in goal, but as I say, overall the whole game we were very good. Jamie Langfield's had an absolute wonder save off John Rankin, but a draw was a fair result.
To Fir Park now then, Motherwell, Kilmarnock, your old team, and I don't think many people saw this scoreline coming, Stephen.
No, they didn't. I was actually at Fir Park yesterday, and I think, you know, for long spells in the first half, Motherwell dictated and dominated. You know, they had lots of the ball without really threatening Craig Sampson's goal. And when the goal came, I thought it was deserved. You know, I thought they were edging the game at that stage, but you know, second half Kilmarnock came out, they were on the front foot a little bit more, they took the game to Motherwell a bit more, and I think then, you know, when their goal came, it was deserved because they had a few chances, they had a few shots, they passed the ball well. I actually left with 5 minutes to go thinking it was going to be a 1-1 draw.
How dare you?
Well,
Rory McKenzie scoring there, listen, then Craig Slater wins it.
And I think Stuart McCall will be so disappointed because, you know, when you concede a goal in the 95th minute, there's no way back. It feels a lot worse. If you concede after 70, you get a chance to get back in the game at 95 minutes. I think it was a bit of a hammer blow for them.
It seemed to kind of go over Gunnar Nielsen's hand as well there, the winning goal. I don't know if it was deflected.
Yeah, but I don't think it was deflected. I think it's just hit a bobble right in front of him. Now, if it's your own keeper, you're disappointed, but I think he was a little bit unlucky there.
A wee bit unlucky maybe. And a big game now, significant to today, of course. St Mirren got the point up in Inverness, which means Hibs can relegate Hearts. And it was 2-2 in the end, but St Mirren made a really good start and they're desperate for every point they can get, Paul.
Great finish here for Naismith. It's a great result going away to Inverness. It's a hard place to go and get a result. It's a good point for them. Both teams have been struggling of late in the league, so probably 2-2 was a fair result.
Own goal there.
It is Darren McGregor. You know, a little bit unfortunate. I think Ross Draper was trying to claim it, but you know, when Inverness went 2-1 up, you just thought they would have enough to go on and win the game. St Mirren, I think 7 defeats in the last 9 they've had. They're under a little bit of pressure. They're still in that 11th spot. But I suppose in the end, a little bit of relief. You know, they got themselves back in the game. They left with a point, but I think over the peaks, Danny Lennon knows that, you know, draws won't be enough for them. They have to start winning games.
Maybe they could have left with more actually, because Josh Meekings gets sent off towards the end. Josh McGuinness was through on goal, but should this have been red for you, Darren?
Well, if it's against you, I think Shinnie's getting back in there. I don't know if it is a red card, but if I'm looking for the centre half to be sent off, but I think Shinnie's getting back in.
I think Shinnie has just done enough there to be on the cover to get round there and maybe stop the goal scoring opportunity, so I think it may be a bit harsh on him there.
OK, St Johnstone, Partick Thistle, next game at McDermott Park. St Johnstone are not too bad a run, took the lead, a man you know well of course, Stevie May scoring again, Paul.
He's had a fantastic season, Stevie. I think that's his 21st, 22nd goal of the season. He just seems to get better and better by each week, so you know, he's doing very well.
but this was late. Chris Doolan.
It was. You know, Chris Doolan's actually started the last few games, but didn't start yesterday, came off the bench, and I think it's his first goal in 15 games. So, you know, huge relief for him to get the goal, a huge relief for Partick Thistle. They're still in touch. You know, they want to stay up like the rest of them do, but going away, that could be the crucial point in the end.
A big day for all those teams in the bottom half.
Well, it was. Well, it's nil drew. There was nobody lost any ground, so it keeps. Well, obviously come on at one, they're the only ones, but the rest drew, so that keeps it all. It's all going to go to the last day. It's going to be lots of pressure. It's going to be exciting. You know, we speak about excitement in Scottish football. It's going to be exciting, but I wouldn't fancy being one of those teams.
It's going to be exciting here. You can see Hearts right behind us out to warm up. It's going to be very nervy for everyone involved. An absolutely enormous day for all the fans here. Hearts are just dreading the scenario that Hibs could put them down. Coming up, much more on the derby. We'll be looking at some of the classic encounters down the years and reminiscing with the boys as well. We'll see you shortly. Coming up on ESPN tonight at 8 p.m, IndyCar opening Grand Prix of the 2014 season, and that is live from St Petersburg. Now, it's really hard to put into words exactly what it means to be a Hearts or a Hibs fan, but it's fair to say that once you're in it, as you can see, you're in it for life.
Derby matches make me even more excited. Build-up starts during the week and comes to a crescendo when it, on match day, and then a football match breaks out.
They're great games to play in. You can certainly sense in Derby week that the players have got an extra swing in their step. You know, everywhere they go, there's obviously fans talking to them about the game.
The fans look forward to derby matches because there's nothing better than having the bragging rights against your workmates or the guys in the pub, because it's the highlight almost of some guy's season. If there's a derby match, that's what they'll live for it. Win, lose or draw. You wake up in the morning of the derby and you think, first scarf I see today, if it's a green one, you're going to win. The superstition kicks in as well. I was lucky to be at the 7-0 match. My brother and I went. It's still to this day the best moment ever in a derby match.
Well, it means everything to an Edinburgh lad. I've been coming to derbies for over 40 years, seen some fantastic games, especially the 5-1, the cup final. We'll never ever forget that. The 4-4 game, I think, was one of the most amazing games I've ever seen here. I mean, to be trailing 4-2 going into injury time, and I remember my mate saying to me, "We're beat now." I said, "Well, it looks like it." And then within 44 seconds, we've scored 2 goals, and the roof literally came off the place. It was absolutely incredible. That is a really big highlight.
Playing the Hibs Hearts derby, it was an electric atmosphere, and it was a game that you really love to play in. I'd like to have won more, but the fact that I took part and I was involved in these games it's great memories. It's a massive game for Hibs to get a result, just to make sure that they're not getting involved in the relegation playoff, because they're on the results are proving that they could easily be sucked into that relegation fight for the playoffs. So it's a massive game for Hibs to win, and also disappointing for Hearts, but they'll just need to rebuild and make sure they can come back up in a season.
My name's Ewan and I'm a Jambo. My name's Kyle and I'm a Hibs fan. I'm a Hearts fan because all of my family supported them and I love going to the games. I support Hibs. My favourite player is Paul Hanlon. I think he's great. I think Hearts are going to stuff Hibs on Sunday. Not a chance. Hibs will win every day.
Mine will be my first derby I went to, and it was Hearts 0, Hibs 7. I'll never get it. And then the other derby at Easter Road, and we won 6-2. I've been smiling for 40 years, and I'll never take that smile off my face. Tynecastle and Easter Road, the atmospheres, the East Terrace and up at Tynecastle, you always get great atmospheres. We all look forward to them, and you never want to miss them.
In modern times, to score 27 goals against Hibs was tremendous. And from being an Edinburgh boy, it was great, tremendous pleasure for it. My father was a Hearts man, and one of his favourite players was Willie Ball, so just to go past him was a tremendous feeling, and to do it at Easter Road
as well on that particular day was fabulous. But 27 goals is great. The secret, or my way forward, was to try and remain as calm as possible on the build-up to it, and more importantly, in the game itself, was just focus. You know, as manager said before, become an assassin. Score the goal, just keep calm, cool, and when the time comes, hit the target. The first one was probably the best, believe it or not. It was one that I scored in the very first game way back in '83, but such was the technology those days that was one cameraman and an old-fashioned Betamax video, and unfortunately that went on fire after about 50 minutes, so they never got any of the goals at all. It's an incredible story, but that's what actually happens.
I don't think I'll miss an Edinburgh derby for 1 year. If it's going to be a long-term thing, which it might be with Rangers coming up through the league, I think after a few years, you'd miss the excitement, the adrenaline. There's no fixture like it for Hibs fans. It's just, you just don't get as excited about other games. But for 1 year, it'll be quite nice to have the bragging rights of being in the league above Hearts, knowing that we are superior to them for the time being. And I don't think we'll miss it too much for a year or so.
Obviously, losing the derby is going to be a massive thing for both for the city itself. But the Championship, as it's called now, I think it'll be a really good league. I mean, you've got Rangers in there, potentially Dunfermline, Falkirk, Raith Rovers. So it'll be quite a local theme to it, and we're looking forward to it.
And that is exactly what it means to everyone involved. There's the young Hearts team. Some of them have come through the youth system, so hopefully they have a grasp of the significance today. Hibs have made 6 changes, a much changed team. Paul Hartley and Darren Jackson are with me, Stephen Craigan as well. You two know exactly what it means to play in this. 25 derbies, 16 derbies. Have to say you did score 8 goals as well, so you'll be quite smug about that. But what does it really mean to be involved in these type of games, Paul, and what's it like to play in?
Well, they're great games, great atmosphere. They're very intense, the build-up, usually a week before. It's fiery, sometimes it's not great football, but they're wonderful games to be involved in, and they're even better when you win them.
What memories stand out for you?
Unfortunately, I don't have too many, but Hibs Hearts went on the 22 games unbeaten run, and we actually stopped it here, Gordon Hunter, so that stands out. And we qualified for when I was at Hearts, we qualified for Europe here against Hibs, so 2 good memories.
And you were sent off once, I believe?
Yes, it was after the game. It was actually a tackle. I got booked for a tackle on Gary Locke, and then Tosh McKinlay came at me after the game. He was a good pal now, and Brian Hamilton tried to attack him, so I pulled him away and I got sent off after the game. So
I love it. You just said to me, it wasn't my fault. It's never your fault when you're sent off. We know all about the Hearts mismanagement story, but how surprised are you to see Hibs in the bottom 6 again, Stephen?
Oh, I am, because when Cherry took over, they had a little bit of a renaissance, and they actually touched the top 6 just after the new year. But I spoke to him during the week, and he said, since then results have gone downhill, performances haven't been very good, and trying to get consistency in team selection he finds is key to him. We see today 6 changes today from last week. He's still looking for his best team. Players aren't stepping up to the plate and doing the business week in, week out. They're doing it every now and again. They're making lots of mistakes, giving away silly goals, and also I think the lack of goal threat up front. James Collins is in to try and get goals today. If they could get goals, I think Hibs could do okay, but 29 league goals hasn't been enough.
That's Hibs. Hearts, we know, are in a very bad situation as well. Darren, how long do you think it's going to take them to rebuild now?
Well, it depends who they bring in. It depends who buys the club. It depends how much money they're going to invest. But if they can keep the nucleus of the youngsters here, I think they're excellent. I love actually coming to watch them at the games. We come and watch Hearts. I love their enthusiasm. They've got a lot of ability. I think they've been very unlucky this year that the boy Holt and Walker have been out injured, because I think they're 2 exceptional talent.
And Holt's back in, of course, today, Walker on the bench. We do have to mention, though, as well, that Championship, you know only too well, Paul, when Hearts do drop into that eventually, it's going to be awfully hard to get out of.
Tough league, very competitive. There's three teams just now trying to get promoted. It's vital that, for ourselves, we're trying to get into the Premiership. I think it's a rebuilding job for both teams. With Terry taking over from Pat Fenton, it's not his players, so I think it'll take to the summit. He brings his own players in. It'll be the same with Hearts also. It'll be a rebuilding job there.
There is that dread, isn't there? Everyone in the Championship, Stephen, knows they don't want to be there next season. I know you're desperate to come up this year because of the calibre of teams. Rangers coming up, Hearts probably coming down, maybe even Dunfermline too. Yeah. There's a whole host of big names there now.
In theory, for the young Hearts players, that they should be in a better place this time next year. They've more top team experience, playing first team experience. They should be better players for it. But you suddenly drop into the Championship and it's full of experienced players. Even part-time players are super fit. They look after themselves. They'll be hard to beat. They'll be resolute. So in theory it sounds good for the young players, but believe me, they'll find it really tough.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tough for anyone involved in that next year, that is for sure. OK, coming up next, we'll hear from both of the managers. Gary Locke knows exactly what it means to play in this game and that Edinburgh rivalry. Terry Butcher tasted success in his first derby back in January. Can he do that again? We'll hear from them both next. On ESPN tomorrow from 6 p.m, it's opening day of the Major League Baseball season, and we've got 4 matches back-to-back, starting with the Cubs at the Pirates, followed by the Cardinals Reds, then the Rockies at the Marlins, and the Mariners Angels at 3 a.m. to round off those games. Massive derby to come, Hearts against Hibs. Team news headlines: one change for Hearts, in comes Jason Holt, first start since November, had his injury issues. Callum Patterson starts again, of course he got the winner in the last league derby here. In it right back again, we think too. Duncan Watmore plays, he's back from injury for Terry Butcher's side. Butcher saying he can make a big impact in the match. And James Collins starts up front as well, he scored in the January derby. Right, let's check in with Terry Butcher ahead of his first Tynecastle derby then. He's with Emma Dodds.
Terry, it's your first Edinburgh derby here, and should you get the win, it'll have an extra significance by relegating Hearts. How much is that in your mind, or are you just focusing on Hibs' game?
Well, we haven't really talked about it, to be honest, and that's, from the Hibs point of view, a lot of the fans would say, well, that's all we've talked about all week, but we certainly haven't done that because we have to get the win first and then see what happens. But we've put a lot of work into this week. We know how important it is, and what a tremendously big game it is for our fans. But for us, it's a chance to get back to winning ways and a chance to have a real go and see where it takes us. But we're looking forward to it very much. It's going to be a cracking atmosphere. Hopefully a football match will break out as well.
You've made 6 changes from the side that lost to St Johnstone last week. What's the thinking behind such vast changes in your side? Well,
we lost last week. I don't like making a lot of changes, but we went for a different shape this week and compared to last week, and we lost the game, and I don't think we had a shot on target last week, so I think it speaks for itself.
Goals and clean sheets have been pretty hard to come by for both sides today. What do you think we should expect from this game?
Well, we generally score, but other teams generally score more than us. But I think it'll be very tight. I think there's a lot of pride at stake on both sides, and obviously with the spectre of relegation around Hearts, they certainly don't want to lose today to go down. But we've got everything to play for. We're looking at 7 matches left of our season, and we need points as well. We want to finish 7th and finish as high as we can. So, and that starts today.
We wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Hibs have only won one of their last 12 games now, and that bad run coincides with the last derby win. It's not been a great few months. Stephen Craigan has been mulling over their problems.
The Hibs fans will be arriving en masse to fill this end of Tynecastle as they hope to inflict more misery on their city rivals' Hearts. However, underneath it all, they must be hugely disappointed at yet another bottom 6 finish. But not just that, more importantly, how disappointing they've been in the last couple of months, and how easy they've been to play against, but also how easy they've been to score against. I think we see here Steve McManus against recently at Easter Road. He's got far too much time in the ball, he's unopposed, it's just a simple 10-yard pass, it just splits the Hibs midfield. You see it there, all 4 Hibs midfield players taken out of the play. I think they've got to be narrow, they've got to be compact. Lionel Ainsworth then gets at Michael Nelson. Does Michael Nelson come tight, does he drop off? In the end he does neither, and it's a good comfortable finish by Ainsworth, but a poor goal from Hibs' point of view. This goal here against St Johnstone last Saturday will infuriate Terry Butcher. Daniel Boateng has to be more aggressive, he has to win the first header, he doesn't, the ball bounces, and look at the disjointed back 4 of Hibs. The 2 centre halves are ahead of the full backs. That shouldn't be the case. There's lots of space in behind. It's just a simple ball. Boateng eventually gets himself back into a decent position, but then doesn't make a tackle. And unfortunately for Ryan McGivern, he ends up putting it into his own net. This was earlier in the season also against Hibs at Easter Road. Ryan McGivern, he has to be patient. He has to keep the ball. He doesn't. But let's be honest, Paul Payton just clips a 40-yard ball over the top. But from this position, Paul Hamlin should be okay. He should be able to clear it, but he's simply out-muscled. Nadir Chiefty then takes Michael Nelson on, slips it into the bottom corner. And I think overall, I just wonder today, the question will be, will the Hearts youngsters have enough to put the Hibs back 4 under pressure? We'll have to wait and see.
And that is a key question, Stephen. Terry Butcher's been very critical of his defence in recent weeks, in fact of the whole team at times, suggesting he'd effectively throw the kids in as well. He hasn't quite done that today. He's made lots of changes, and you can see from what Stephen was saying there, they've got their issues at the back.
They've got their issues at the back, yeah, and he keeps on chopping and changing it. They've got young kids in there, but it's just not been good enough, conceding sloppy goals. You see the one that Dun United scored. We scored against them. Shifty just brushed Hanlon off the ball and scores a great goal. But again, I think you've got the whole team. You've got to defend from the front, and the whole team's got to work hard for the defence, but some sloppy goals.
Yeah, Paul Hanlon's out today. Daniel Boateng played last week. He's been dropped. And look at that, Lee Griffiths, Celtic player, of course, now in the away end today. And would he not love a victory for Hibs? He certainly would. In fact, anyone associated with Hibs would love 3 points today, Paul.
Yeah, it's a massive game, and we know what can happen if Hibs win. Then they relegate their bitter rivals, Hearts. Just looking at Terry's team, he's not found his best team yet. He's chopped and changed every week, so they've not got any consistency. I think he'll wait till the summer and try and bring his own players in. The one thing that he had at Inverness, they were hard to beat. They're a difficult opposition to play against. He's not quite found that at Hibs yet.
Who can spark this derby then for him? I mean, Duncan Watmore's in today. Sam Stanton's been quite impressive.
Well, I've not seen Duncan Watmore, so I've heard he's very good. Sam Stanton, I think, is the one that they'll be looking for to produce a little bit magic. But I think just going back to Lee Griffiths here, I think that's your problem. Hibs weren't fantastic last year, but I think they've scored 37 goals this year. He scored 28 on his own last year. So if you've not got someone that's going to put the ball in the net, you're always going to have problems.
Boos behind us there, not surprised, but a lot of ovation from the Hearts fans as well. We're going to have a lot more of this today. Let's check in with the Hearts manager now, Gary Locke, ahead of kick-off. He's also with Emma.
Gary, another big derby day for you. We heard a lot of positive shouts from your players as they went out to warm up there. What have you said to them ahead of this one?
Yeah, just to go out and play the game, know the occasion, make sure that we turn up on the day, and if we do that, hopefully we can get 3 points.
The scenario you didn't want to happen can happen with defeat today. Is that something that you have to put to the back of the minds of the players during the game?
Yeah, without a doubt, it's not something that we've thought about. We've got a good record in derby games, so we want to try and keep that going. Obviously, last time out, Hibs beat us, so it'd be nice to turn the table this time round.
Despite the age of some of the youngsters in your side, they do know what this derby means. They've come through the ranks. Is that a big asset for Hearts today?
Yeah, I think it is. I think everybody at the football club, especially the dressing room now, maybe couldn't be said about the dressing rooms of the past, but certainly it's all kind of local lads, so they know what's at stake, and for the backing that we've had for our supporters all season, it would be great to get a win for them.
And squad-wise, you haven't always had options this season, but you've got a couple of guys coming back from injury. You start with Jason Holt today. How good is it to have a fully fit Jason back in the starting 11? Yeah,
it's great. It's been a big loss. He's a very talented young player, and obviously done his metatarsal, as did Jamie Walker. So the two of them had been doing well at the time. But over the course of the season we have had 1 or 2 injuries, but it's great to get them back. It's obviously coming at the wrong time because we're coming towards the end of the season, but great to have these young lads back in the team, and as you say, it gives me a couple of options which I've probably never had most of the season.
We wish you the best of luck today, Gary. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
He's looking for derby heroes. There's one right there. Rudy Scatchell. Hearts fans will never forget the impact he had. 5-1 hero. They still love to see him here. What kind of team talk, Paul, do you think Gary Locke will have to deliver to that young team today?
I don't think he'll say too much today. I think they know what's required. It's a derby game. They know they need to win the game. If they lose the game, they'll be relegated. I think the players will be fired up. They're fairly experienced now, that the younger players they've been playing all season. They've played in the derby games. I think they'll be right up for this game.
They've got the experience. Stephen Craigan, I should say, is back with us as well. But the young players in that Hearts system, they have come right through the system, so they will understand what this means. It's not like it's foreign players. They may be young, but they know this derby.
Yeah, well, they do, and they know what it means to the club, and they know what it means to their family who may be Hearts supporters. But unfortunately for them, they've lacked quality throughout the season. Time and time again, they've given away silly goals. They've given themselves mountain to climb in games. It's been difficult for them. Can they raise it, and can they put in a really big performance today? I'm not so sure they can. I think Hibs will be more up for the game. I think it means more for them. Hearts know they're going down simple, and I think Hibs will win comfortably.
And can actually Hearts prevent Hibs from scoring today? That's the question. Your Dundee United team came here last Friday, and you got one fantastic goal, of course, but some of the Hearts defending was criticised on that night as well.
But if you look at both teams just now, they're not scoring and they're conceding, so we're either going to get a 0-0 or a 4-all, and I hope it's a 4-all. But I would tend to disagree. I think the young kids, as I say, I've been here a few games to watch Hearts, and their enthusiasm, I think today they'll be well up for it.
Paul, the atmosphere is really building in here. You can sense something a little bit special.
Yeah, I think it's got the makings of a great game. I think Hearts will be right up for it. So will Hibs. They know they need to win the game also. They don't want to be sucked into that relegation battle, and it's got the makings of a cracking game.
Let's hope it is the 4-all draw, not the 0-0 you're suggesting.
Oh, we hope so. these guys are no better than me. That it'll be frantic, it'll be fiery, there'll be lots of tackles. You know, the atmosphere will be terrific. The quality of football probably won't be great. And you know, in most games, the first goal will be crucial. If Hibs could get it today, I'm a little bit concerned for the Hearts youngsters.
Right, this stadium really is filling up. In fact, we are approaching capacity. Hibs sold their away end out a long time ago, anticipating the big party. It's a big day for both teams, much more than just bragging rights at stake, that's for sure. It's been memorable in the past. Dramatic moments have marked this affair down the years.
This is Edinburgh. This is real football passion. Super goal for Hibernian. Hearts laughing from top to tail. It's Caldwell for Hibernian. Hearts hit the front of the derby. It's a penalty to Hibs. And it's gone in. Hearts are level. Hibs have the feel-good factor. Superb stuff from Callum Patterson. Liam Craig, the coolest man inside Easter Road.
And one of Hearts' anthems bleeding out through the speakers all around us. Some atmosphere here with Paul Hartley, Darren Jackson and Stephen Craig in pitchside. Paul, it's hard to hear each other talk right now, actually. It's that kind of atmosphere today, but where's this game going to be won and lost?
I think the final third is always important. Hibs have sent an attacking line-up with Hanlon and Collins up front. Hearts defend well. I think the final third is always vital.
Are you surprised by that Hibs team selection?
Well, against us they didn't play that well, and obviously didn't play well, so Terry's just trying to get the right formula, and he's struggling just now, but hopefully he'll have it today.
Teams are almost ready to go. A quick thought, Stephen, for you. Who's going to win this game and how?
Well, listen, first goal is going to be crucial. I think what Guy Lockwood said to these young players is don't get bullied, don't be intimidated by the atmosphere, don't be intimidated by the opposition, just go and compete.
Okay, let's get going. Over to Gary McAllister and Derek Ray.
Thank you very much, Darryl. It is one of the longest running rivalries in club football anywhere. Two Edinburgh teams founded in the middle part of the 1870s. The first derby was played a couple of miles away on the Meadows, now a large public park. That was back on Christmas Day 1875, the first of 628 meetings, including testimonials, friendlies and local cup competitions up until today. Hearts and Hibs, for all the fire and brimstone of a capital derby, are inextricably intertwined. It's a day for Edinburgh, a day for Old Reekie. Hearts have tweaked their line-up to allow Jason Holt to make his first start since November. Holt has appeared in 3 of the past 4 matches as a substitute. Scott Robinson drops out of the team that lost 2-1 to Dundee United. Jamie Walker is fit again and available to help out later. Confirmation that Hibs have made 6 changes to the side that lost 2-0 away to St Johnstone. Coming in, goalkeeper Ben Williams after the birth of his second son. Alan Maybury, the former Hearts defender. A fit again Duncan Watmore plus Lewis Stevenson, Danny Handling and James Collins. Danny Haynes is suspended. Liam Craig and Kevin Thompson have to be content with places on the bench. Gary, how will this shape up tactically?
Well, Hearts will be 4-3-3, and I think key for me is to get the ball away from the hurly-burly of the middle of the pitch to the 2 ball players, Nicholson and Smith, on the wide areas. Hibs, on the other hand, will be 4-4-1-1. The big thing for me is they cannot allow Collins to be isolated, so Handling, Watmore, Stevenson and even Stanton getting forward to help.
Refereeing a second Edinburgh derby today will be Stephen McLean. Terry Butcher and Gary Locke, the 2 managers. Terry Butcher got off to a winning start in his first derby as Hibs boss back in January. Alec Maley in the 1921-22 season, the last Hibernian manager to win his first 2 derbies. And the atmosphere is absolutely electric.